What's happening, Bulls? Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. The market's pretty boring, so hang around here. We'll catch up on the crypto news. We'll bring you up to speed, up to date on everything that's going on. Plus, we'll do some professional A-grade technical analysis. I've also got some trades to put on, and we've got a lot of signals, especially on the altcoins. So there's a big move coming. That's very obvious to us. We know that that's going to happen very shortly, especially in the altcoins. What does that typically mean if there's a guaranteed big move coming in the altcoins, whereas it's not so obvious in the Bitcoin? What does that usually mean? That usually means that the arse end's going to fall out of the altcoins soon, which is not something that we want to hear, but potentially the truth. So we'll go through that, but first we'll start off with the news, bring you up to speed, and all of that jazz. Basically, catch up on the market because there's interest is it's waiting. It's paper thin. Interest is not around. Typically, what happens is these times they bore everybody out. The market's very predatory, destroys everybody's leverage. Hope and interest drops. People just get wrecked, get sick of it, get bored of it. The majority of retail goes all in on one coin, whether it's XRP or Cardano or even Ethereum. Pretty much any coin except for Bitcoin, because people want to be obviously exposed to higher volatility potential. They seem to understand market cap in that sense, but not in any other sense. When you talk about the altcoin being able to reach these crazy figures, all of a sudden they don't understand market cap, and they don't get that coin is not going to surpass Bitcoin's market cap. Anyway, beside the point, let's get into it. We'll go through some news and then we'll go through some charts. Like I said, I've got some massive altcoin signals passing through right now, so it's going to be it's going to be a big one. All right, let's go. I've got some trades to put on too. I've got a Bitcoin trade coming that I've got a signal for it, so I've got to put it on. And I'm just going to work out the trade and the direction while we're talking right here. So first off, we'll just start with this. The Omega candle is coming. There's always a new type of candle coming. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 25 bips, 0.25%, and it has a big effect on the market, but it's not necessarily right now that it happens. Breaking, President Trump is asked where he wants interest rates to be next year. His response, 1% and maybe lower than that. You don't own enough assets. What does that mean? That means that hyperinflation is near. Some type of hyper stagflation is near, and it's going to be pretty much dollar inflation. Obviously, what looks good? What looks good when you're a president? Assets rising. How do you make assets rise? Deflate the dollar. So if you can deflate the dollar still without riots, without causing riots, without people, realizing that their dollar's deflating too much, you can basically just make the American stock market and all other assets reach all-time highs consecutively. So Trump is pretty keen on that. You don't own enough assets because when the dollar is devaluing, what's going to be happening is those assets are going to be skyrocketing. Next thing, does the Bitcoin price do this during a bear market? Okay, so he's obviously hinting that it doesn't make higher lows in a bear market. But if we flick over to the Bitcoin chart, and this is my trading chart that I'm about to whip up, so it's going to be quite messy. Watch list over here. Where are we? Bitcoin just hanging above the... Well, that looks like it's about to fall off the cliff right there. Okay. But what I'm going to look at is he was simply doing this. Can you see here? You can see this, the higher lows. This is what he was talking about. What is this technical pattern? This technical pattern is actually called a bear flag. Okay, bear flag. That's what it's called. It's the exact opposite mirror image of a bull flag. Well, that's not how price goes. Price goes like this, and then it goes like this. Makes a flag. That's a bull flag, and then it goes like this. That's how price happens on the upside, and now how price happens on the downside. Exactly the same, but opposite. Bear flag. Okay, so if you inverse the chart, say this is the bear flag right there, you inverse the chart, you can see look at that, wow. Now all of a sudden that looks like a bull flag. So what this is currently is in most highest probability, what's either going to be one of two things. It's going to be a semi-macro bottom, or it's going to be a bear flag, which, if we keep the trend as our friend, it's just a standard bear flag. Comes up and takes away liquidity from here. Obviously, people put stop losses here. There's a lot of shorts happening. Shorts, just every second of every day, there's a short being put on. Where's the stop losses? Above there. There'd be more stop losses right above there because people are always looking for reference points. So, again, we're either going to go butts, or we're either going to go butts. Okay, it's we're not talking about predictions right now. We're just talking about there's pretty much three options of what's going to happen. Everyone wants certainties. Certainties don't exist in financial markets, so get used to that. But we can do probabilities. We can get a slight edge, and then we can make some coin from it. What else we got? Yes. Does it do this? Yes. More than not, actually. More than not. It's called a bear flag. Wow. How insightful. Okay. Making enemies, perhaps. Samson Mao, buying a Bitcoin under $100,000 is the opportunity of a lifetime. I agree with Samson. That's just a little reminder. All right, here we go. The Fed is about to buy $40 billion worth of T-bills in the next 30 days. This is a different way of inflation other than just standard money printing, or some people probably would call it standard money printing. Let's have a listen. There we go. Where are we? Boots, old Lark, zesty Lark. Where are you?
The Fed says it will buy $40 billion worth of treasury bills in the next 30 days, starting on, today. This is incredibly big news, guys. They cut interest rates another 0.25%. Some people are saying, maybe Jerome Powell wasn't as bullish as he could have been. He was too hawkish. Look, the market had largely been pricing in this 25 basis point cut. That's what we got. The market was not pricing this in. Now, we shared this with you the other day. The Fed's going to buy $45 billion worth of T-bills. Watch out. Apparently the number is $40 billion. He's off by $5 billion, but our repo guru got it. You have to understand, they're not calling this quantitative easing. This is a liquidity injection. This is a form of stealth QE. When the Fed goes and buys $40 billion of bills back in the next 30 days, that brings a lot of liquidity in the market, guys. You have to understand, the Treasury's buying back, and now the Fed's buying back. The overnight repo markets are starved of liquidity, and they're injecting liquidity in there. The market is pumping the money in. At late 2022, when the markets collapsed and everything went bad, why did that happen? Well, massive excess in the system. Zero interest rates, money was dirt cheap, the Fed had injected ungodly amounts of money into the market, and that regime started to change. Okay, inflation started creeping up, so the Fed shifted its stance from a policy of easy money to a policy of hard money. When that happened, the bear market came. We are in the exact opposite situation right now. QT ended 12 days ago. This is a titanic movement happening in the plumbing of the financial system. Okay, this is not a time when risk assets tend to falter. This is a time when risk assets tend to thrive. Can this time be different? Sure, but there's a great old saying in investing: don't fight the Fed.
Yep. Nice one, Lark. All right, what else we got? We got some boring shit. We got some fun shit. Here's some fun shit. Okay, Bitcoin, it's okay to stop trading. Well, that's sort of boring, actually. It's okay to stop trading when the weekly candle looks like this. Doesn't mean increased leverage because things are moving slow. It means find another market to trade and enjoy the rest of the year without doing anything. So what is he talking about here? He's talking about these doji candles that represent indecision, market indecision, something like this. Something like this. You can see usually low volatility is led by high volatility, or vice versa. High volatility is led by low volatility. So, contraction leads to expansion. So what happens, like what we're always saying, price contracts and then it explodes. So big move incoming, but he's just saying don't get chopped out or don't be around. He's sort of taken the approach of, jump on when it's already happening instead of premeditating the move. But you can definitely plan and prepare for a move, that's for sure, and even enter positions. So talking about the MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, right? There's now a 35% chance Michael Saylor's strategy sells Bitcoin by the end of 2026. This is a long way away, but people are betting on it, right? As starting, if you believe strategy will never sell Bitcoin, there is opportunity here. So MicroStrategy sells any Bitcoin by, this is end of 2025, not 2026. This is a couple of weeks. Oh no! Sorry. Used to different types of Polymarket. He's got multiple options there, obviously. So no, 66 cents. Not too bad odds. Yes, 35 cents. It's a decent bet. Nobody listening to this is probably going to do it, but it's just interesting to see how confidence is faltering clearly. Just one thing, just really just to sort of show and talk about briefly, right, is Ray Dalio is, I would say, one of the GOAT, arguably the GOAT. So I'm a big fan of Ray Dalio's, and where I've read his book twice, listened to everything that he says. Don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but fuck, I probably should. He's a lot smarter than me. So when you're lashing out of your comfort zone, trying to do anything that's going to lead you to any type of outside the box success or anything greater than the average peer, the average 9-to-5 peer, you're taking risks and you're trying to achieve something. What's going to come before you achieve anything is failure. So there is no avoiding pain, especially if you're going after ambitious goals. So the more ambitious, the more pain, most likely parallel. Believe it or not, you are likely to feel that kind of pain if you approach it correctly, because it is a signal that you need to find solutions so that you can progress. If you can develop a reflexive reaction to psychic pain that causes you to reflect on it rather than avoid it, it will lead to your rapid learning and evolving. After seeing how much more effective it is to face the painful realities that are caused by problems, mistakes, and weaknesses, I believe you won't want to operate any other way. It's just a matter of getting in the habit of doing it. Pain plus reflection equals process. So the bigger the goal, the more failures you are away from it. You literally cannot reach that goal without X amount of failures, most likely larger, the more important and large and ambitious, like he said, the goal is. So don't, how do I say this nicely? If you have a fear of failure, then you are not going to achieve anything in your entire life. You need to almost hunt failure, because it's the key ingredient to success. You need to chase the failure. Because what happens when you fail is you find what you needed to fix to reach the goal. So it's just like a highlight. It's like it's like the Where's Wally. Your failure is like the Where's Wally of what the next step is. Anyway, hopefully that motivates and helps. Okay, so dang ETH, something tick. Just showing other people's TA. He's just sort of showing like Ethereum clearly come up and took out all this liquidity here in this breaker candle here. So it's just taking out the top of that candle. You can see this wick has taken out the top of the candle because that's where people put all their stop losses. Solana, key support. So we're going to have a look at that in a second. And this is just some more bullish hopium that we might cover at the end. So here's Bitcoin. We just talked about that. Solana, I just want to zoom out on Solana and just show you something. 12-hour chart would do. Probably actually now get a bit further, but look at this, okay? So we've talked about this. If you've been hanging around, you've heard this for quite a while. So Solana, similar to Ripple, XRP sat on this same support level, which gets broken because of obviously liquidity and that, but it comes back up to the support. So supports are built to be broken in the short term and to hold in the long term, okay? So you know, this is what I always have been doing all the way back here. And we were right. We've been right so many times about Solana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's like it's the exact same as XRP. 13 times that support is broken but held, after the liquidation spikes. So most likely there's going to be a hell of a lot of liquidity under these areas. I'm starting to think you might get something like this. Probably is going to be very, that's what I'm seeing happening now, actually. Coming into New Year's and whatever. You probably pump like just before New Year's, like just after Christmas or something. There'll be a race. But look at this. It's just like, you want to be like, is it going to happen a 14th time? It's happened 13 times in a row. Is it going to be like, was it going to happen a third time? Yes. Is it going to happen a fourth time? Yes. Is it going to happen a fifth time? Yes. Like, how many times? It's so like, fuck, man. Even if I'm wrong right now, I've been right 13 times already saying this shit, or would have said it. We started talking about it here when we started talking about the range, right? So we've been right fucking 10 times probably already. So you want to be right a 13th, 14th time, I guess. So that's literally, you just expect ranges to continue, expect trends to continue, and then just have a plan for when they don't. So that's most likely what's going to happen, and this support's going to eventually hold. But there's obviously going to be shit tons of liquidity under these areas. So it'd be pretty impressive if this just pumps straight from here. It's hard to imagine, but possible. So what I was talking about earlier is, see over here. So this is my signal for a short-term Bitcoin trade. It looks like it potentially could be a short back into the 80s, believe it or not. You just got to adapt and evolve, eat me words, but that's, whoever can sit on the fence and change sides fastest makes the most coin in this industry. If you get attached to your ideology, which I keep saying, 80s are steel, it's going to be in 90s. Well, who knows how long it's going to be in the 80s for. I could go back down to 81. Doesn't mean it's not a steal. 6 months from now, it'll be like, wow, I can't even, it was in 80 for so quick. I didn't even get a chance to buy it when it was 80K. You've already had like 3 chances to buy it in the 80s. So it's all about time frames. So what is happening here is I'm getting heaps of alerts, blue bar, H12 blue bar. So just when you thought these shit coins couldn't go any lower, and it's blue barring off the lows right here, which is blue barring off the lows right here, which is like, usually it's a bounce, right? Obviously because it's support, so you're blue barring off the support. But what we might get is something like what we just saw here. So it's something like the head fake to the lows, and then something like that. Just these coins are starting to get, that's a short. That's a fucking short. Okay. Okay, so what I do here now is I go into a time frame that's going to give me a single signal today. I go into the okay, 15 minute usually gives a couple a day, 2 a day, or 3 a day. Yep. When was the last signal? Yesterday morning. Might drop it. So I run the 10 minute. So I go to a lower time frame. I go just above these gigastochastic indicator extremes. So you can see here, this is our in-house indicator, gigastochastic. You can have access to that for life if you want. I'll give it to you for life if you just do a little bit of a stint in the blockchain bulls, and then you can have it for life. All good. I won't kick you off it. Merry Christmas. But this thing's fucking going lower. It looks like you'd usually long it here, and you probably will, because what's going to happen is most likely it'll come and have a bit of a pump. It'll take a lot of these highs out, and this is when we short it. So XRP, grim. So I have a long on XRP just sitting, just expecting it to bounce off all these lows, but blue barring right here. Yeah, I like blue bars for longs when it's sort of like that, and it's blue barring here, rounded bottoms, paying bills with the rounded bottoms as we do, but it's not what we're seeing. Oh man, so grim. Fuck, look at this shit. This is Matic, man. Matic. This was your chance to get rid of Matic. September. Nobody would have, though, if they were long-term holders. You just see it and you expect it to go higher. I know how it is. You can start grabbing trend lines from wherever the fuck you want, because that's how trend lines work. You just fucking... look at this. So, you know... I would give 35% chance. Bang. Oh man, look at this shit. Holy. Holy. Oh, it's a daily chart. It's going to take a little while. We've nearly got blue bars on the daily. You can see here, look, what happens. Blue bar daily, bang, big move. Blue bar daily, right at the top, bang, big move. You know, I say big move, it's like you would have, if you shorted it here, no leverage, that's 30%, 10x, 300%. Look, blue bar, low volatility, contraction, bang, big move. So blue bar means big move soon. We're getting blue bars on literally all major coins, which is good for a long. That makes it a little bit better. If you're getting blue bars on just all the shit coins, then it's just like, oh yeah, we're fucked. But having the big ones, the big names, blue barring as well, that's bullish somewhat, you know, BNB and all that. Oh. Volatility, Giga Stochastics dropping like a stone, man. I think this is going to, yeah, fuck. So you got a low volatility coin like BNB. It's already done a couple of liquidity grabs. You can see it's just come up where all these stop losses are here in this cluster. So it's probably going to be just one of those things where it's just about to drop. So the whole market looks like it's about to fucking dive. You're looking for coins that have been going up for quite a while. And we're looking at the top 100. We're just mainly trading the top 100 at the moment because, as you know, you don't want strong ones though, because Aave and that is strong. They can hold the ground. Tau's strong. You want ones that look like this, basically. Look like this is just like an exaggerated short squeeze almost. You want to short stuff like this, but you want to be patient. You want to be patient, right? So put short on that. Yeah, it's not really. Yeah, see this thing's going. We already shorted this. So this is nearly prime for another short. It's trying to make its way up to here. It could have just a fucking wild rogue jump to there, and then it's going to be further down. I'll keep an eye on that. So you're just looking for coins. No, this is similar, but same but different. You know, obviously there's a narrative behind that. Hype, I'd love to long that. If I was longing, I'd be longing. Palm Fun again, be longing. Like this looks very, very bottomy. It's just sort of hard to grasp it, because it's obviously there's two options here, right? There's a big move happening. So this is probably blue barring on the daily by the looks of that, is it? Oh, more or less. Creeping along, just ducking it by less than 1% or 1 or 2%. So see, the two things are going to happen, right? It's going to just fucking go into lows it's never seen before, or it's literally the bottom. So there's one or two things, pretty grim. You wonder how can these things go any lower, but trust me, they can. See, this is what you wanted to see if you're shorting. So this is fucking 2 weeks ago, so we're a bit late on that, but there are outliers. Oh yeah, this can go lower for sure. See how it's just resting on all these fucking multi-year supports. VeChain, still proud sponsor of the UFC. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying, fuck, it looks grim. OKB, shortable, similar. You know what I mean? There's more meat on the move, but it's just like you're betting on these things to go further down than they already are. So you like financially, you're better to have a long. What are you better to do, right? Is wait for a head fake like this. So a move to take out all the long stops and then take a more of a long bias. Right, something like this. Boom. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're more inclined to, you know. That was fucked. Bear flag. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I'm feeling right now. My Tron trade got stopped out, unfortunately. bring it to break even, whatever. So all those break even trades are fucked. Ooh, this looks a bit more toppy. Lower highs, big range basically. Massive ranges, massive ranges. Oops. So XMR. Again, you know, there's narratives. So when you want to short things with narratives, you're obviously running a seriously tough and risky business. But this right here is a range that it's in, and that's another range that it's in underneath that. So yeah, maybe Old Mate is pretty accurate with his call to sit on your hands a little bit. But I'm saying, you know, bearish for a head fake, and then I'm saying look for the generational long. Oh my god, this is a bit of an outlier. Wow. Yeah, just watch it. It'll come down and take out more stops, right? So yeah, bear trend shit. One more low before higher probably. Here, link, here's a good one to short. If you can catch, this is a range, so if you can catch it range highs, or even at least range mid, so you zoom in. As you do here, right, as you zoom in, you bring out the G-box clearly, puts. So this is the pretty much the skeleton of the range. And literally, as you can see clearly, anything above this is fantastic shorting. Anything above this one, so this was the best shorting. But now that it's already done that, if you can even catch it here, or here would be great, middle of the range. So obviously like these areas here, if you can catch these spikes, this would be a fantastic short for Link, and expecting TPs for $12. So obviously going to juice this motherfucker up with a lot of leverage. Yes, to get the gains. All right. Anyways, moving on. I'll be keeping close. We'll be talking soon. All right. So that'll do for now. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, and talk to you very, very soon.